To all the real TIs out there, I hope y'all holding up, taking care of yourself. And I gotta give a disclaimer real quick. I gotta say this because I know a lot of people like to get butthurt and make false allegations, false claims. So I'm speaking solely from my personal experience with going through organized stalking, organized harassment, um, what people call gang stalking, slang term gang stalking. And when I first woke up to this, I didn't really understand exactly how far or how deep it went and how many individuals were truly involved in the scope of this. So it's not something that I planned to do, or I didn't see myself making this channel if you would have asked me about this type of stuff years ago, because I've been targeted since I was younger. So I believe that I was actually born into this. I think my family and people around them actually helped put me into this program, if that's what you want to call it. So I don't really have all the answers. I don't have all the so-called info because I'm just trying to figure it out like everybody else. But one thing I can say from my own experience, from my personal experience, is that I know for a fact that law enforcement is heavily involved in this, all the way up to the so-called government. And with that being said, I think that there's a lot of hypocrisy and overall just evil that that motivates this program, because the same ones who are putting people up to perp and follow, monitor, and harass you, or try to sabotage you on the workplace and overall just sabotage your life in different aspects of it, are the same type of criminals that should be watched and monitored and surveilled 24/7. So going through organized stalking really opened my eyes up to the truth about this world. It really helped me understand that this is a world where the authorities, the people who are supposed to be in charge, are actually protecting criminals and who are actually enabling criminals and people to do these sorts of crimes against humanity, violation of other people's rights. And like I said, there is a lot of fake TIs on here. There is a lot of disinfo agents. There is a lot of perps and people overall trying to discredit organized stalking and trying to discredit targeted individuals. But what I do want to say is that once you start documenting and have in real life footage and you're actually making solid points, I've noticed that's also when you kind of attract more of the perps and more of the people coming to your channel trying to project. When you go to their channel, they have no videos, they have no content explaining all these paragraphs. They're typing out in the comments. They'll be quick to type out paragraphs, but they have nothing on their channel. So like I said, I'm not forcing anybody to be here. I never claimed to be the end-all be-all channel for gang stalking, or I was not even planning to make this a channel about gang stalking in the beginning. I never would have thought that these are the type of videos I would be speaking on, because I woke up to it just like many other real targeted individuals do. So in all honesty, I don't think anybody has all the answers. I think a lot of people are just trying to figure it out. That's what I think. And being a TI, you take information from here and there and here and there, and you just try to piece it together as much as you can. So I've been watching a lot of different videos regarding organized stalking, and from what I've seen, a lot of real TIs are on the same page. when it comes to law enforcement being one of the main driving forces behind this. Um, Fire departments, city workers, EMS, all of these people who, a lot of them root from fraternities as well. A lot of these people, they all know each other among the towns and cities, so I could see why some people say that, they feel as if their whole town's involved or a whole city, especially small towns, full of miserable, insecure people. That's really understandable when it comes to these sort of hate programs, these scapegoating and ostracizing based programs. So I just wanted to say in this video, it's a lot of people involved, but at the same time, I'm not saying it's everybody. I'm not saying it's everyone in a position of authority, but they play a major driving force behind this. And if you're a real TI, I'm not even telling you anything new. It's just, I make these videos too because I know they watch these videos and watch my channel. So it kind of, it's kind of funny just trolling them a little bit. Because every time I make these videos, all of a sudden, the tactics want to ramp up and the noise campaigns and the law enforcement in the area. I just wanted to say, I think the hypocrisy of this whole program is that a lot of criminals are being protected. The same people who are, violating people's rights, illegally monitoring them, harassing them, doing sabotage in different aspects of their life, making up false reports, false allegations, the misuse of all these resources, EMS down to the fire department, down to different people in positions of authority who are supposed to be trusted with the access to information and the resources, and all of these perks that come with being in those positions. I just think it's hypocritical how these are the very same people that are committing basically terroristic acts and participating in a slow kill program. I know a lot of people try to make this out to be a joke and lighthearted, and I don't say this to push any fear or sound like I'm stuck in some type of loop or anything like that, but organized stalking, gang stalking, this stuff is serious. I think a lot of people forget that people have literally taken themselves out over this program. People have literally, crashed out and did something to somebody, or was locked up and put in jail, or some people, they're not here with us anymore because they reacted to these tactics that make up this program. So I think a lot of people forget how serious this is. I think a lot of people try to make this out to be something light and like a joke or something, but there's nothing funny about people taking themselves out because of these programs, or doing something and being set up because of the stress and the tactics that were aimed at their life that they wouldn't have normally done if they weren't being covertly harassed and all these forms of reactive abuse. So like I said, I don't think that TI should be in a place of fear. I think TI should really be empowered and really keep your head up and your chest out against these cowards, because at the end of the day, we still have to live our lives. And like I said, I'm not the spokesperson of all TIs. I'm not making these videos to make you feel good. I'm making these videos because this is the reality of the world we live in. And this wasn't planned out. But if I feel, called to speak on it, I'm going to speak on it. And I know there are some people out there who say, well, the program's never going to end. Gang stalking's never going to end. So why don't you quit speaking on it? Why don't you quit talking about it? But the thing is, that's the difference between me and a lot of y'all. You know what I mean? Like, I actually stand on something and I actually have a spine. You know what I mean? I have a backbone. So I'm not like y'all out there who are just gonna lay down when things look hopeless. You know what I mean? And if this is the most I could do with my life here, then I guess that's what I'm gonna do. So to all the TIs out there, you know what I mean? Don't be afraid of these cowards. You still have a life to live. And just because these people have so-called authority behind them or numbers or people like that, that doesn't make them right. That doesn't mean they're telling the truth. At the end of the day, you know who you are. And y'all people hiding behind them fake accounts and perpetrating it, and actually y'all are the ones pushing the real agendas. Y'all are the disinfo agent trying to come to people's channel and act like you know them based off a video. To y'all, every day y'all gotta wake up and just come to the reality of who you are and what role you play in this. So, like I said, everything comes around full circle. And I'd rather speak on this than just be quiet and just bitch up and not say nothing. So y'all take care of yourself out there, man.